Well, Miss Spider just mentioned in the room that Spider, as a Spider in the Hall, he's an awesome singer and songwriter.
Well,
Ew.
I don't know about awesome, but I'll take it.
You take it.
For reference, for anybody out there who doesn't know yet, because I mention it every show because modesty, but the theme song for Let's Talk About the Music is an example of my singing and songwriting and recording and everything. So,
Ooh,
anyone who likes
that's very
that
cool.
rockin' little intro that we do every week, that's yours truly. And I'm always making a little bit more of that kind of thing in my spare time when I'm not doing radio show and chasing baby.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, when I started talking, I tell this every time he brings this up. Every time when he first started talking to him, he goes, "I have a surprise for you," and wasn't even a podcast where I'm getting ready to launch it on December 23rd. He comes, "I have a surprise for you." Like, what? He goes, "It's not ready yet." Like, what are you telling me for?
Gotta build the hype up first,
I'm gonna bug you, and so finally send it over, and I listen to it, and going, what? So yeah, I was all like, wow, I have a theme song, and I had another image I wanted to do instead, but I'm glad it didn't really work out because now I'm using a song.
Well, there we go. Look at that. It all works out, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay, so we are getting towards the end of your segment, so let's switch gears for just a second before we take off. Christinagrimmie, now you go and talk to people all the time. I was mistaken. I thought, I mentioned it on Monday, I thought she was on stage when when it happened. But I found out she was actually signing autographs and talking to the public. You're on tour and you're going to meet all these people, are you concerned that something like that may happen too?
It's definitely always a concern, and I have to say it quite was a shake-up when I first saw what happened to her, because it's something that could literally happen to anybody that doesn't have like a personal security team, like a big star like Justin Bieber or anything. But the main thing, a kind of a thing that you have to live by, is that the problem with the music industry is there's literally probably 1,000 times more things to worry about in music than there is to actually celebrate. And you kind of have to, like, as you get into the music industry, you have to be able to learn to, you have to keep aware of all these things, but to kind of put them away, kind of push them to the side and not let them become a rotating thought in your brain, because honestly, if you let the amount of negative things that could come from music be in your head, you get swallowed up and the positive things wouldn't even matter, because basically a million things could go wrong, but like 2 things could go right. But when those 2 things go right, they're like the best things ever. So it's just kind of part of the territory. So it is scary. And I'm sure for my first few meet and greets in the next few months, I'm going to be a little like, But honestly, like, I just have to live by if it's going to happen, it just happens, and there's not really anything I can do to stop it other than wearing like a bulletproof vest to all my performances. So I just kind of let it. Yeah, and I think that's what I've been hearing from a lot of my music friends, that it's a frightening thought. It kind of opens your eyes as to what could happen, but also I live in Canada, and so, things are way less of that nature. But it's just, if it's going to happen, it's just in the plan.
Right.
And it's not really much you can do, so it's just kind of like, ooh, hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah. So now, do you feel like you're more secure in Canada than coming here to the States?
There's way less shootings in Canada, so I mean, it could happen. There's crazies everywhere, but
True.
it's it's harder to get a gun here. So that's
Canada,
that's
I believe, is a lot like Australia in that aspect. It's that it's pretty much not. I wouldn't say gun free necessarily, because there's a lot of hunting in the wilder areas, but it's more like that rather than people having home defense weapons.
Yeah, it's way less common. Like the average person that you would meet doesn't own a gun, and the only people that really do are the people that literally hunt and have a hunting permit, and that's literally the only people I've ever heard of having one. And so it's just not a thing that's really around. It's not even like that we don't even really have a stance on guns because just nobody has any. Nobody really. Everyone's really weird and lax in Canada a lot of the time, and like we don't even care about Thanksgiving. Like everyone gets really crazy about Thanksgiving in America, and we're just kind of like, oh, like turkey, that's nice. And, like it's just everyone's kind of like, well. So with guns, it's kind of the same thing. We're just kind of like, I don't got one. Do you? Oh, no, I don't have one. That's just how it is. It's very Australia.
Wow. Well, when you come to the States, be very, very careful and hope you are safe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in LA last year, and so I got to see a very different society. And I was like, oh, okay, culture shock.
Yeah. Yeah, this LA is a land of its own.
Oh yeah, it's like America and Canada on Red Bull.
Yeah, you're being so kind.
Yeah, no, just LA, like, and they're like super happy, like you get with Red Bull, but they're also like the crazy kind of happy, and that can be very fun, but it can also be terrifying for a Canadian who's used to herbal tea,
Yeah, I tell people that I want to take this show on the road and do a tour. So that's what my next mission is, to go on tour with the show and do it on location. And they're like, well, where are all you going to go? Like, oh, I'm going eastward. He goes, what about California? Oh, they got to pay me like double or triple to get me to California. There's no way in hell I'm going to California unless you pay me over much. You can come to Nevada.
Oh, yeah.
You can come to Arizona. You can come up here to Portland, but there's no way I'm going to LA.
Oh yeah, no. LA is a very special place. And it takes a very strong person to live there happily.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I go there and I'm terrified. I don't want to go there.
And it's really funny because almost everyone that lives there is not born there, though.
No, I know.
Like almost everyone's like, "Oh, I'm from Sweden," or like, "Oh, I'm from Canada," or "Oh, I'm from like Ohio." I don't know. Like, just they're everywhere. They're never like, "Oh, I was born here." I've never heard that.
There's certain
like,
cities in the U.S. that are like that, where it's like nobody actually was born there. It just seems like people moved there, and you kind of have to wonder, how did it even get there if nobody was born? But it's just, it gives you that kind of a vibe. It's just like nobody actually grows up there. They just show up there later on.
Yeah, exactly. Same with New York. It's a common one because everyone's going there for Broadway and business.
Yeah, I got a few friends who are born and raised there, but they want to leave. Then come to Washington. We have cookies.
A big thing that I've always wanted to do is live in San Francisco, because that place is like epic. Well, they're just very upbeat, and I find that interesting. I find it a fascinating place. I just at least want to visit it for a while and just understand that culture, because everyone's very different there, and it's kind of cool.
San Francisco was an interesting place. I went there. Maybe it's been, let's see, 17 years ago, maybe. So it's a bit of a distance now, but it was an interesting mix. It was like you have a lot of old school cultural buildings and streets and things there that seem like they're straight out of the 1800s, but there's so new stuff going on. There's street performers, there's tourists, there's people who live there. There's so many things happening in the streets all the time. It's enough to just boggle your mind.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, I've always loved that sort of vibe, so I could definitely see myself there.
Now, Erica, who is also one of our voiceovers, she's in the chat room. She says, so many people go to LA for Hollywood, but she's gladly just to visit, but not to move there.
Exactly.
And
that's what it is for a lot of people.
Yeah, and she's also an actress too. So she does not just do voice; she's an actress. So she does all these things. So she can go down to California to do an acting gig, and all of a sudden she'll come right back home.
Yep, it's like bye.
Yeah, nice to visit. See ya.
Oh yeah, I've had some weird like experiences that definitely like top like my top 10 list of like things that have never happened to me. Being there, like I was in a Starbucks and a butt naked woman just walks into Starbucks, and everyone was shocked. Like it wasn't a normal thing, but it was still like, oh my god, like only in LA. And then I've had people, following me around a grocery store because I passed by them and didn't say excuse me.
What?
And I'm like, oh geez, like you're taking initiative to make me say excuse me. like this is so, that would be like, are you crazy in Canada? Like, do you need help? If that happens, like even an aggressive like honk in Canada is like, oh, is there something wrong? It's pretty funny.
Speaking of naked people walking in here, you have not been to Fremont, Washington, which is like close to Seattle. We have a Fremont Fair from one part of the block to the next, and it's a Freedom Fair, and they're allowed to be butt-ass naked back and forth. If they go past that mark, they can get arrested for exposure, but so they have to stay in. It's called the Fremont Fair.
Well, that certainly sounds free.
That sounds, it sounds like it, and really good for them because, like, good for them being proud of their bodies, showing them off. That's great. I probably wouldn't take part, but good for them for being that comfortable with their bodies. Like, good for them. It's just, a little out of my league, personally.
Oh, it's coming up, too. So you want to avoid Fremont Fair if you don't want to do it. It's this Fremont Social Fair, June 17th to the 19th. So, yeah, it's coming up. So you don't want to be part of it.
Naked Fair.
Exactly, Naked Fair. 17th to 19th. Wow. You don't want to see naked body. I mean, you get naked people everywhere in different sizes, too.
Our world is a colorful place.
That is so true. Very, very true.
Definitely colorful. All
right, so
to say the least.
Exactly. We are out of time with you, and so we have one last song, Flames in the Dark. So before we do you want to leave there the song is ending, or are you going to come back for a few more seconds, or what do you want to do?
I'll come back on, say bye after the song's over.
Okay. All right, you guys, here is Flames in the Dark, Mackenzie Dayle. Now, this song here is the very song I got from her, and I play this song a lot. Because it's the only thing I have.
This is my LA one. This is one of my ones I wrote in LA. So.
Oh, so there you go. Now, good thing we're talking about LA, so it's kind of queued up for it.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Flames in the Dark. Now, when I play this song, you guys got to crank it up because it's really, really, really good song. Because, like I said, I play a lot. So, basically, it's number one hit on Let's Talk About Music. By me, anyway. All right. Flames in the Dark. Mackenzie Dayle.
Lights out.